10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
On a woman's regular day, and especially during her menstrual period, sanitary napkins and panty liners are always to the rescue. Sounds beneficial, but do you know that inside your sanitary napkins lie a silent hazard that must be exposed? Most of the affordable sanitary napkins and panty liners on the market today are using recycled cartons and papers as absorbent pads. These scrap papers, which are surely infested with unnoticeable microorganisms, undergo the process of paper pulp bleaching. After bleaching, these are integrated into your sanitary napkins as it passes through manufacturing processes.
Pulp and paper companies grind and moisten it to form a product called pulp. Producing sanitary napkins begins with half-meter wide rolls of cellulose pulp. The rolls feed one long machine that does everything. First, knives spinning at 3000 RPM shred the pulp into a fine fluff. Then the machine sprinkles that fluff with polymer powder. The polymered fluff then travels through what's called the doser, a device that measures out the required amount of fluff per pad layer. The machine then suctions each dose into a closed chamber where an air current blows it into a pad-shaped mold. Then another air current blows it out of the mold onto a wheel that transfers it to a conveyor belt. The machine simultaneously makes a second pad layer. This one is smaller, rectangular, and at least double the density of the first layer, meaning it has more cellulose compressed into a smaller size. The compression roller also embosses a pattern that will disperse the menstrual flow, helping absorption.
A shocking revelation, right? But this is still not the peak point of danger. As the paper pulp undergoes bleaching, there is a byproduct produced during the process, and this is the chemical called dioxin. Evident to this, a fact sheet released by the World Health Organization in May 2010 cited paper pulp bleaching as one source of dioxin contamination. But what is dioxin, and how does it silently harm people, especially women? Dioxin is a highly poisonous chemical compound. It is 130 times more poisonous than cyanide and 900 times more poisonous than arsenic. It is named the most poisonous man-made chemical. The International Cancer Research has labeled it as first-class cancer-causing agent to humans. According to study, an average woman uses 15,000 sanitary pads in her whole life. In other words, there are 15,000 times of risk to be exposed to dioxin. What are the side effects of dioxin exposure?
Dioxin is not your typical kind of toxic chemical which might affect one kind of effect, might only cause neurotoxicity or reproductive toxicity or cancer. Dioxin seems to have the ability to interfere with basic processes in our bodies, so that in fact dioxin has been shown in our experimental animal studies, and now we're seeing more of this in our human studies. Dioxin has been shown not only to cause cancer, but to cause effects on the skin, to cause effects on the gastrointestinal system, to cause effects on the reproductive system, on the immune system, on the cardiovascular system, on the endocrine system, and on the nervous system as well.
Dioxin's harmful health effects include endocrine disruption, cancer, reproductive impairment, infertility, birth defects, damage to kidneys, and metabolic dysfunction. Included in these risks are also cervical cancer, ovarian cancer and cyst, vulvar tumor, and uterine fibroids. There are also common health problems which might be triggered by wrong sanitary napkin choice. Urinary tract infection, genital warts, itchiness caused by chemicals that are irritating the skin and the lining of the vagina, irregular menstruation, leukorrhea, or a thick whitish or yellowish discharge from the vagina, red rashes, and bad odor discharge.
The concerns with the use of traditional tampons and pads are the ingredients that are used that can be absorbed into the body. Most pads contain bleach, plastic, and the chemicals used to make the pad super absorbent. Tampons pose a greater risk because they may contain bleach, which produces dioxins, fragrances, rayon, pesticides, and other contaminants. These can be absorbed quickly into your body because of the location of the product. When tampons are removed, fibers are left behind, which can also leave chemicals behind to continue to be absorbed by the body. The FDA admits that some tampons contain dioxins, but claim that they are in such a small amount that it does not pose a health risk. However, dioxin is an extremely toxic chemical, and the nature of this product will expose your body to this and the other ingredients over and over for a large part of your life. So how much of these toxins are you willing to expose yourself to? Is any level of a toxic chemical safe? As with the other personal products, you may choose to cut any risk and purchase products that do not contain any of these chemicals.
These are some of the health problems that women everywhere are facing right now. Are you suffering from any one of these? What about your mother, your sisters, or your friends?
Now here's what I'm about to do. A lot of the ladies in the room, you're probably gonna laugh, ladies, on what I'm about to show you. Some of the men in the room, you guys probably don't even know what this is. You ready? We know the ladies know what this is. Any man in here doesn't know what this is? Any man? Well, I have a wife and 3 kids, so I know because I buy them a lot. So, right here. But guys, this is a sanitary napkin, and I'm going to be honest with you. When this guy, he pulled this out, right? When he pulled this out, I said to myself, well, my spirit didn't lead me to see in this meeting. Ricky, I'm saying something wrong. You know, I don't know what I was hearing from, but it wasn't what I thought it would be. But here's what he did, guys. I'm about to show you this. What blew me away, I didn't even know how to tear it off. My wife and kids say, listen, you have to pull the entire, back of it off together. But here's what I want you all to see. This is a 10-hour pad, okay? And I'm showing you this for a reason, and I'm showing you this for a purpose. Because, this is supposed to have a serious system of absorbency in terms of what's on the shelf. So what he did was, he took the pad, guys, he laid it out in front of us all on the table, right? And then what he showed us was, for you guys that don't know, when a woman is having her feminine flow. My wife told me the word to say. Call it a feminine flow. When a woman is having her feminine flow on a monthly basis, what happens is the average woman, guys, she gives off 15 to 50 milliliters. 15 to 50 milliliters on average. Some obviously more, some may be less. But 15 to 50 milliliters, according to gynecologists, is the average. And what he did was, he poured it in the pad. And I'm going to simulate these 15 to 50 milliliters going into the pad. And I'm sitting there saying, okay, this is really getting weird. Where are we going with this? That's what I was thinking. But then what he did was, he went into his actual bag and he says, but this is what we're about to introduce to this side of the world. And he tore it and he took it out, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm just curious and taking notes and I'm looking and seeing what's about to happen. And what I want you guys to see here is, anybody that's in the front, can you guys validate that this pad is a lot smaller than the other one? Yeah. Okay, I want that was very key for you to notice this. He pulled out this particular pad right here. Right? And I'm unraveling this so you guys can see this. And then he put this pad side by side. And what he did was, he did the exact same thing. He put the 50 milliliters in this one as well. And you begin to pour it, just making sure I don't pour it all over the tables. Make sure it's all in there. But here's what I want to say as we're really preparing to wrap up on what you're about to see. Do you guys know that a lot of women have been dying of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, miscarriages, fibroids, vaginal infections, you name it. And do you guys know that most of it has been coming from the actual pads that they've been wearing? Because of how they're made and the design and the chemicals that's involved in it. I'm going to show you this in a second. When I saw that part, I got to be honest with you guys, I did not see a business opportunity when I first saw this. I saw my wife and my kids. And my heart went out to women because I say to myself, look what these ladies been suffering through, and some people have died unnecessarily because of the chemicals that's been given into their bloodstream. That's been causing a lot of the problems and challenges. But here's what I want you all to see. What the gentleman then did was, he took a napkin, right? And he took the napkin and he put his hand to press down on the actual pad. And I don't have to tell you guys what you guys expected happened, right? That it was going to be wet. Because we just poured 50 milliliters of water in there. Am I correct? That just makes sense, right? And then what he did was, he took the same napkin. I don't want nobody to think I'm cheating or see that I'm cheating. And what he did was, he did it again, and he was pressing, pressing, and pressing, and pressing, and pushing on this pad, and there was nothing. It was dry. It was totally, completely dry. That's when I jumped out of my seat, and I said, hold on, we got a game changer here, stop. I see the vision. I see exactly where you guys are going now, and let me show you why it's important. Which one of these you guys would say have the least amount of water in it? The one in my right hand? Would you agree? I want to sit this right here because this is a very, very, very important as we're wrapping up. First thing I want to do is I want to show you the design of these particular pads, guys. I don't know if you ever paid attention. Men, I know we've never had to pay attention because we don't utilize them. But if you just actually feel the exterior of this particular pad, you can feel it too, brother. It's made out of, no, seriously, it's made out of some synthetic plastic, which actually rubs against the woman, causing irritations, causing different things because of what it's designed and what it's made out of. If you guys look at the little blue dye here, that's supposed to be the quote-unquote absorbency system, that's actual dye. So guess what happens with the dye when it gets wet? It bleeds through. And guess where it goes, ladies? But then hold on, we're still not done. What's supposed to be the absorbency system here? This is wood fibers. This is old newspapers that was bleached. This was trash that they took, right? And when they bleach it, what's going on, Ricky? It's giving off a poisonous chemical called dioxin. Dioxin is 10 times worse than cyanide. It's poisonous. So now, ladies, all of this is getting not only in your body, but in your bloodstream. And causing a lot of sickness and things that's happening with our women unnecessarily. But let me show you something, guys. This is important for you to see. I'm going to take what's supposed to be so absorbent, and you guys say the cup to the right has the least amount of water, am I correct? Yes. I'm going to put this over here, because I want to make sure we're all on the same page. You guys got to see this as well. The exterior of the design of these pads, it's plastic, okay, with no ventilation or no breathability. Here's what I want you to think about. Your body is 98.5 degrees, correct? Okay? You have blood. You have blood clots. You have moisture, right? You have, some situations, urine that is leaked out or whatever. You have all of this closed in. That's a perfect breathing ground for what? Bacteria. Bacteria. And it's truly, truly causing a problem. And fellas, you may say, well, this don't affect me. Yes, it do. Because then it causes us to wait longer after waiting a week. So it affects us too. Definitely. So for that alone, this is that's something to share. Watch this, guys. I want you all to see this. We're still not done. But then, Ricky, what he began to do, brother, is he tore this pad apart. Now what I want you to see is, I want you to feel the exterior of that. Soft, cotton, right? Okay, that's right here. But here's what you guys have to see. Here's the magic in all of this. This little green strip, this is almost like the microchip in a computer. This is an all-natural algae strip. Let me tell you what's going on with this strip, ladies. It has what's called negative ions in it. For you guys that don't know what negative ions are, I want you to do your own independent research. Don't take my word for it. When you research negative ions, if you've ever been to a waterfall, if you've ever been to the beach before a thunderstorm, that's where negative ions exist. It's known to naturally eat away at bacteria, okay? But it's also designed to put the body in a relaxing state. Nobody's stressed out at the beach. No, nobody. You're relaxing, you're taking it easy because of the negative ions. But here's what I want you to understand. Negative ions, guys, in terms of being in this pad, has really been nothing short of miraculous. I have 3 daughters, okay, that's obviously in this period of their lives where this is a necessity for them. And my baby girl, she's 17 years old, she's the captain of the cheerleaders. I told her, you know, she told me, she says, Dad, I need to try one of these pads. So she was letting me know, obviously, it was that time. And here's what I said to her. I said, listen, sweetheart, I really need you to do me a favor. I said, be brutally honest with Daddy, because I'm about to put my name and my influence on this. You know, we've been out of the industry for almost a year now. I says, if I'm going all in, I have to know this is real. I will never be able to experience this. I need it from you. So guess what, guys? My daughter used the pad. She came back the next day, and here's what she said to me. She said, first of all, Dad, let me say this to you. She says, I didn't have any smell. Number 1, the negative ions takes away the bacteria and the odor as well, ladies. No smell. She says, then I want you to know, Dad, my menstrual cramps wasn't there at all. It's helping with the menstrual cramps. Hold on. Then she says, Dad, I forgot I was wearing it. Because of the absorbency factor, because the way this pad is designed, anytime any type of moisture hits it, guess what happens? It sucks into the bottom of the pad and it locks into the absorbency system that's built inside of it. That's why there was nothing you could see on the top. Because anytime any wet moisture, anything touches it, it goes down below. But now we're getting testimonies from women that are saying, Damon, my cycle has been shortened. Where usually on my 4th, 5th day, I'm still flowing a little, I'm just getting little spots now. Just little spots. We had one business partner, and the ladies, I got to share this. I know some of the ladies in here, I may gross you out, what I'm about to say. This young lady, very influential. Some of you all in here, you may even know who she is, heard her name. She's an icon in the industry. And myself and Mr. Coleman had the privilege of being able to get with her. She saw this demonstration. She says, I wanted to test the limits of what this thing could do. She says, I wore one of these pads for 24 straight hours. 24. She said, I know women are accustomed to changing 4 to 6 times a day. It's habitual. She said, but I wanted to see how far this could go. She said, after 24 hours, no smell, no pain, no anything. This is her testimony. And she is on fire because of now she's seeing how the product works. But as we're wrapping up, I need you guys to see this. This is important here. I'm going to actually unravel our absorbency system here because I put their stuff in a cup. I owe it to you to put ours in too, to be fair. Right? I'm just going to take it and I'm going to drop it into one that everybody in the room agreed had the most amount of water. Right? But I want you all to see this. If you look at the exterior of what our pads are designed out of, you can see holes through it. Everything is designed to be ventilated, right? And allow air to penetrate. But I want you to see this as well. Do you see the exterior of this pad? Do you see the little strips that almost look like a racetrack? If I was to put steam on one side of the pad, steam will come out the other side of the pad. Because it's designed for ventilation, for air to get to that particular area. And I want you to understand something. Plastic doesn't tear like this, guys. This is biodegradable, what we have our hands on. But here's what I want to say. How long would you say that this was sitting inside the water here, inside?
5 minutes.
5? Some people saying 10, 5. So we'll go with 5. Let's go with the lowest amount. And is there still a lot of water in here, guys? I mean, everybody. How long would you say this was sitting here? About a minute, and we can't get a drop of water out of it. You can't get a drop. No, listen, guys. You cannot get a drop. But not only that, no, listen. I can continue to pour. And I can sit it right here in front of us, and all it's going to do is it's going to absorb. It's going to continue to absorb. But let me tell you where we're really going as we're wrapping up, because we're done. Let me share something with you. I just didn't get excited, guys. I did not just get excited about the opportunity. I got excited about the awareness campaign. Ms. Joyce, we're starting an awareness campaign called Now We Know. Our women know now. They're no longer ignorant to what's on these shelves and what's potentially killing them. They're no longer ignorant now to the diseases and things that's causing problems in their lives. Women dealing with miscarriage after miscarriage, and they're wondering why, because their bloodstream is being poisoned with dioxin.
Was at an event yesterday and last Saturday, and they had representatives there, and I actually had a chance to feel the pad itself, and the layer that actually comes in contact with the body was absolutely dry. It was just truly amazing. So, which says a whole lot. And since I've been researching the effects of the traditional sanitary pads, I've had quite a bit of problems based on the information that's being given at this point regarding the type of pads that we've been using. And at first I had I didn't even want to get involved because I just didn't see anything. I knew tampons had the toxic syndrome, toxic shock syndrome, but the sanitary pads, I never related that to fibroids. I had fibroids, I had terrible cramps, and odor. We all know the odor is there. You're constantly using products, deodorant or whatever you can swipe or spray to remove the odor. And I don't remember ever having any type of rash. Could have, and I just took it as normal. And just with the fibroid, my fibroid had grown to the size of a grapefruit, says the doctor. And so I was affected by it also. So here I am, because now we don't want this to continue. Now I have a paper towel to show you what I was shown at the fair last week. Okay, really thin, absolutely thin. And by the way, these are not going to be sold in the store. These are only through distribution with a distributor of the company. And so my website information is on the slideshow that's going to be coming up. Okay, and it has the adhesive here to adhere to your panties or your underwear. Okay, so I'll just put those back, even though this will be the last time they get used. Okay, and of course the strip there to go in the panties as well. There you go. And I have the explanation. I'll put that, well, it's in the video, so you'll see and hear everything that needs to be said. Okay, so now we're just going to put this on the table as if it's, can you see that? Alrighty. And there's the ion strip right in the center, and that does a calming effect. It reduces the cramps. It's pH balance, and it's described as for the calming effect, like being out at the ocean, where you just feel relaxed from that negative ion effect. So now let's go on. Now they say that the average cycle yields about 55 milliliters of I don't want to call it blood, but drainage. Okay, so right here, this is a 2-ounce cup that I have, because 55 milliliters is only 1 teaspoon short of 2 ounces. So this is about that right size or right amount. So I'm going to pour it on the pad. Okay, here we go. And yes, it's the color that we use. And remember how thin that was. And I'm not going to compare it to any of the store-bought brands, because you have those because you use them, and you can compare it yourself to what you see here today. I just poured in almost 2 ounces. It probably was 2 ounces because it was at the rim of this cup. This is a 2-ounce cup. It come from 99-cent store. Now, okay, this is, I can see it absorbing into, let me see, I'm going to zoom in, and maybe you can see how it's going right into the pad itself. You'll see all these little spots up here are going to kind of clear. Okay. Yep, see, it's all becoming the same color. So it's absorbing. And then I'm going to show you how thick the pad gets. Yeah, it's swelling up now. Okay. We'll give it 1 more minute. On my clock it's 12:42, so at 12:43 we will give it a test. Okay, that was only a few seconds. So now it just switched to 43. We'll give it to 44. That'll be a full minute. Minute and maybe 15 seconds or so. Okay, now the top layer is natural cotton. It's not bleached. The second is the ion strip. And then there's on the third level, there's 8 levels to this. On the third level, it's an air layer of paper. And it prevents the backflow. So it is always one direction. And then the polymers are these little granules that are in baby diapers. They're in your pet's pee-pee pads, and they absorb the fluid. If you've ever gotten snowflakes to spray outside, or either to sprinkle outside, and then the moisture gets in them and they swell up to make that artificial snow, that's basically the same principle as this, but it's the same a product that is used in baby diapers, so it's pretty much safe for us. Okay, it's been a minute. Now I'm going to actually touch this, and it is just barely it's dry. Yeah, you just barely feel any wetness there. Okay, now you don't see any drainage at all, no leaks. Let me back that thing up here a little bit, let you see this. There's no leakage, and I'm going to do something I haven't seen, and I'm going to twist it to see if anything comes out. Nothing is being squeezed out even. Okay. So there you have it on that. Now I'm going to show you just how much moisture is on this top layer. I'm going to take the paper towel and push down on here. Look at that. That's just barely nothing. Barely. And if this is all in a minute's time, so normally you have a pad on at least 3-4 hours if you're at work, you know, until it gets really soiled. That's great. I'm cool with that. Even doing it a second time, there's nothing there. So I think you're going to really enjoy having this type of coverage.
When I first saw the Cherish Pad demonstration, I was amazed. He poured a bunch of water on a pad that we all, you know, use all the time, and came away wet. And of course, as a woman, I sat there going, yeah, okay. And when he put the water on that Cherish Pad and tapped in nothing, it honestly, I went, wow, that's fantastic. That's what everybody would want. You know, something that they're not going to have to change constantly. It's going to hold the liquid that they need it to. They're not going to feel like they're dirty, that they're wet, that they're uncomfortable, they get irritated. It was really very, very enlightening to kind of see that's out there.
NowWeNo is a movement. It's an awareness campaign that is informing men and women, boys and girls around the world about the harmful effects of the ingredients that are sometimes placed in maxi pads and sanitary napkins and tampons from some of these high-level, highly advertised manufacturers. It's really an idea that was born from the founders of Inspire Network. We thought, you know what, there are a lot of companies in the MLM direct sales industry that have great products, but what about a mission? What about a campaign? What about a movement around the product? And that's where NowWeNo came from. And one of the questions that we get oftentimes is, Mr. Iverson, if this product is so great, then why haven't the big pharmaceutical companies, why haven't they brought this to America? Well, if you understand the pharmaceutical industry, the money is not really in the curing of your disease. The money is really in the maintenance of your disease. You see, with Cherish premium pads, we want to keep you dry. We want to keep our women safe. And not just for right now, but for the future generations to come. Because when you know better, guess what? You can do better.
What excites me about the NowWeNo campaign is, one, the product is phenomenal. Like, I want to scream from the mountaintops, like, ladies, you need to try this. This is going to save your life. It's going to change your life, give you a better quality of life. And outside of that, it's also good for your health as well. And anytime I have something good that I can share with somebody else, I mean, why not pass that information along? I got gold. It's called Cherish. Absolutely.
We now have a platform of some incredible people with a heart to go out and share this as a crusade for women. And not just the women, but the men who love them. And, you know, I already knew about some of these things. There's so much evidence out there that what we're putting on our bodies in so many different areas is so harmful. But what I love about the NowWeNo campaign is I believe that the leadership of this company has a true desire and a true heart to stand up, take a stand, and just push through all the muck and say, we are going to change. Now that we know, we're going to say no. And I believe that I can align myself with a company like that, that truly their heart and passion is to help save, you know, the lives of women around the world. I believe we can do that.
It's just organic that you're going to share it, because health is the one thing that we have to be able to live, to pursue our dreams, to work. And that's something that Cherish Pads gives us.
There's a woman in your life that you know if they were exposed to the truth about these issues regarding feminine hygiene products, you would want them to know that truth. There's someone in your life that you cherish. And in keeping with our mission of being a campaign-oriented company, We have products that are going to benefit the entire family. We have a line of nutraceuticals. We even have a men's vitality line that's coming soon in the days, weeks, and months to come. You know what, guys? At the end of the day, we are Inspire. We're mission-driven people.
Hey guys, Becky Timms from Goose Creek, South Carolina, and I wanted to shoot a video today about a product that I received several weeks ago. So the product is Cherish Sanitary Napkins, and look, here's one I took out. It's super thin. I received these about 2 weeks ago, and I was not on my period, so I wanted to wait until last week when I was on my period and try them out to give an honest review. So the first thing that I realized is it's super thin. The first layer is cotton and it's super soft, so you don't even feel like you have a sanitary napkin on, which is very important to me because I'm a tampon girl. But secondly, the second layer in this item is a negative ion strip. Now, this is super important to me because I'm a scientist, and without getting too techie, negative ions are just an oxygen atom with an extra electron. So some of the health benefits of negative ions are they're very calming. I mean, if you go to the beach, they're usually produced out in nature, and that calming effect when you get in the beach, that's exactly what negative ions can do. Some other health benefits that negative ions are known for is to reduce odor, which these actually do, help with pH control, just a very calming effect. So I had these out on my desk because I wanted to do a review, and my son Carson was like, "Mom, what are these?" And I said, "Hey, these are sanitary napkins." And he said, "Are you on your period?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, you're not mean." And I was like, "Oh, so have I been mean before?" So anyway, I thought that was quite funny. But so I'm not mean this week either, and I just wanted to shoot this video. And another thing about the negative ion strip is when you use it for the first few minutes, it causes a little tingle, and you might could sell that sensation too. I don't know, but it's definitely something that was a little unusual, but it was comfortable after a while. And then the other thing that I guess I'm super excited about, because I'm a scientist and an environmentalist, on the package itself, it says, "Bag it and trash it, don't flush it." And I actually work in the water and wastewater industry, and this is huge for me because there's only 3 things that you should flush: pee, poop, and paper. And I want you to dispose of these properly, because if you don't, it will clog pipes and pumps at wastewater treatment systems. And the last thing that I want to say is they are super absorbent. When I first watched a video on these, it like soaked up all the water, and then soaked up all the water from competing brands, and it's amazing, and it works that way as well too. So super thin, you can't even feel that you have it on. Super dry, you feel super dry, super absorbent, you get that tingling sensation. You want to properly dispose of it, and I would highly recommend that you get back to the person that showed you this video so that you can get your hands on some of these, and you're going to love the way you feel.